This tutorial was created to help you with the interactive PowerPoint lesson. The PowerPoints you have created in the past most likely linked in order going from slide 1 to 2 to 3 and so on to the end of the presentation. For this assignment, you are going to create a PowerPoint that will contain questions and answers that hyperlink or jump to specific slides depending on if the learner clicks on the right or wrong answer to the question. One of the first slides should state the learning objectives for the lesson. Please list the Florida standards or standard and any ISTE student standards for the PowerPoint lesson. Next, create as many slides as needed to teach the lesson. I suggest the same strategy as we've used for the unit development. You start with the standards or objectives for the lesson. Now think of the questions that you'll ask at the end of the PowerPoint. Use those questions to create the content for the lesson. If you use this process, you'll always be in alignment. Please also include at least one link to a YouTube or Vimeo video that is related to your content. In this demonstration, I have created only 2 question slides. You'll need to create 5 question slides. I've also created a slide that will link it to the correct answer and another link that will link to the incorrect answer. Here's my correct slide, here's my wrong slide, this is my summary slide, and here are the 2 questions. Here's my question 1 slide. So on this question 1 slide, I'm going to actually highlight or select the answer that the student would click on. In this case, I want to link that to the wrong answer. Answer 1 is wrong. So with answer 1 selected, I'm going to right-click and I'm going to jump down here to the hyperlink. On the hyperlink, what I need to do is I need to actually go to a place in the document. The document in this case is the PowerPoint. And you can see here that it shows me all the different slides and different options I can use. So in this case, since it's a wrong answer and I already have a wrong slide, I'm going to select that and I'm going to click OK. Now I'm going to do the same thing again for answer 2. Select answer 2, the words. Go down to hyperlink. It's already on a place in this document. And again, it's a wrong answer. So I'm going to click on that. Let me do that one more time for answer 3. Highlight the words, select them, right-click, hyperlink. It's into a place in this document. Select the wrong slide and click OK. Finally, the last answer in this case is correct. So I'm going to select those words. I'm going to go up to hyperlink, and this time I'm going to take them to the correct slide. Now I'd have to go into presentation view to check these, and I suggest you do, but for the sake of keeping this short, I'm going to go ahead and repeat the process for question number 2. So here we are in question number 2, and in this case it's answer 1 that is wrong. So I'm going to select that and I'm going to right click on it, go to hyperlink, and I'm going to select my wrong slide. Notice I'm using the same wrong slide that I used for the last question. I want you to use the same correct and the same wrong slide for each of your 5 questions. I do not want you to create a correct and wrong slide for every question. Reuse the 2 that you have. So I'm going to reuse my correct one for answer 2. And then I've got 2 more wrong answers. And now I have two questions, each on slide 4 and 5 in my case. Yours will certainly be beyond the numbers 4 and 5 because you'll have several slides of content while I only have slide 3 as kind of a holding place for my content. So you have both of these slides. Now, once you get the answer correct or get the answer wrong, you have to be able to get to the next question after that. So let's go on to that. So let's assume that we got the question correct. So we need to give the user a place to click to return, because otherwise we've kind of, stranded them on this correct slide. There are several things that you could do here. I'm going to just put in a text box here that says back. And I'm going to make that a little bigger because it's pretty hard to see. So this is one of the ways that you could do it, in which case you'd highlight back. And in this case, when we go to hyperlink, we can see that we have some other options here. And one of those is the previous slide. So you could take them to the slide that they came from. And so this would take them back to the slide that they came from. Let's do this a second way. On the wrong slide, instead, I'm going to go up here into the Insert menu, and this time I'm going to take a shape. And one of the shapes I can pick down here at the bottom is the Action button. So I'm actually going to pick the Action button that has the arrow that would imply that you would be going back, and I'm going to stick that in the middle of the slide. And because it's an action button, it automatically comes up with some options that the action could do. So again, you could pick previous slide and it would take you to the previous slide. If you wanted to, you could even make it make a sound when you go back. Again, all of this would only work if we were actually in presentation mode. So at this point, you have created a question that is interactive and will link in presentation mode to either the wrong slide or the right slide, depending on whether they got the answer correct or incorrect. You've created two different ways that you could get from that correct or that wrong slide back to the question that you came from. But let's say that you're done with question 1 and that you have gotten it correct, though it may have taken you a couple of attempts to get it correct, and now you want to go to the next slide. Well, PowerPoint is kind of set up to automatically go to the next slide, but just to make it clearer to the learner that's using it, let's actually make a button. Here what I did was I made another one of those action buttons that would go to the next slide. Let me do this one again for you. So I'm on question 1 and I'm going to go up to the Insert menu and I'm going to look at the shapes and go all the way down to the action buttons. And in this case, I want an action button that's going to indicate to the learner that if they click on it, it will go next. And because it's an action button, as soon as I finish drawing it and I let go of my mouse, it comes up with this action settings. And in this case, I want it to go to the next slide, so that's fine. But you can see I have a choice. It could go to different slides if I wanted it to. Again, if I wanted to, I could also make it make a sound. And all of that will only play if we're in presentation view.